All right. Hey, everybody, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at something that I know I personally have struggled with, and I know a lot of other people have too,
Yeah.
and that is negative people.
Ugh.
I mean, who wants them around?
No one and no one.
And yet, for some reason, they just seem to
Find you.
find you, and they latch on.
They do.
So we are going to be talking about how to identify these people, how to recognize them,
Yeah.
and we're going to be looking at some excerpts from a piece called Identify the Negative People in Your Life.
Ooh, that sounds juicy.
And I think it's going to be really helpful for all of us in kind of just developing those really strong, positive relationships that we all want.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to start off by recognizing that we as human beings, we are wired for connection. We crave it. It's as fundamental to our well-being as, breathing clean air or drinking clean water.
It's true.
Yeah.
I never really thought about it that way, but I mean, the source material really emphasized that like being around negative people is almost like
smoking.
Yes. Like smoking. It's so bad for you.
It can really pollute your mental and emotional environment.
I think that's a great analogy because just like we wouldn't intentionally choose to inhale toxic fumes, right? We shouldn't tolerate those toxic relationships that leave us feeling drained or just...
We're just bad about ourselves,
Absolutely, yeah.
The source actually outlines 5 signs that you can look out for.
Okay, I'm ready.
To help you pinpoint these negative people. So the first one is people who don't value you.
Ooh, yeah. It's making me think of those friends that you know.
They call you when they need something.
Yes, exactly. And then you never hear from them again.
Until they need something else.
It's
a genuine friend, a true friend, they make an effort to stay connected. They're there for the good times and the bad times.
Exactly. And you feel like they actually care about you.
Yeah, they're invested in the relationship, not just what they can get out of it.
That makes a lot of sense.
So the second sign is people who are envious of you.
Oof, this one's a tough one.
It is. You know what? Because envy, it's subtle sometimes.
It is. It can be really hard to pinpoint.
It's not always like in your face.
Right. It can be like those backhanded compliments.
Yes, those are the worst.
Where you're like, wait, are they trying to be mean?
Right. Or they're downplaying your achievements.
Yes. Like, oh, that's cool, but...
But it wasn't that hard.
Exactly.
Or anyone could have done that.
Yeah, right.
It's all rooted in insecurity and this feeling of lack.
It makes you feel like you can't even be happy for your accomplishments.
Exactly.
I actually read about this thing called tall poppy syndrome.
Oh, tell me about that.
Have you heard of this?
I haven't, no.
It's this tendency to kind of criticize and undermine people who are successful.
Oh, wow.
Like some people they can't stand to see other people doing well.
So they try to cut them down.
Yes, exactly.
That is so interesting.
And I feel like this kind of envy can really creep into relationships and make them feel unbalanced.
Absolutely. And it's not always malicious, but it can still have a negative impact.
Right. Like it can make you feel like you have to downplay your successes.
Or feel guilty for achieving things.
Yes, exactly.
Which is just not fair to you.
Not fair at all. So, okay, what's the third sign?
All right. The third sign is people who want you to change.
Oh. This one hits home.
Yeah, I know, right?
And there was this quote from the source material that just really stuck with me.
Oh, share it.
Sure. It said, "It is healthier and more favorable for you to fill a void in your life where a person used to be than it is to fill a void where you used to be."
Wow, that is powerful.
Right.
I mean, that really speaks to the importance of being true to yourself.
Yes.
And not letting other people try to mold you into something you're not.
Like you're not a project.
Exactly. A true friend loves you for who you are.
Yes, warts and all.
Exactly. They embrace all the quirks.
And if they don't,
then it might be time to reevaluate that relationship.
Okay. So moving on to number 4.
Number 4 is people who lie to you.
Oh, I feel like this ties in with what we were just talking about.
Like honesty.
Yes, with honesty and being genuine.
Right.
And, the source pointed out that love, it's not just about romance, it's a behavior.
Absolutely.
And lying that just completely goes against that.
Yeah, it erodes trust.
It does.
Creates distance in a relationship.
I'm just curious, is lying always malicious?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I mean, is it always like they're trying to hurt you?
Sometimes people lie out of fear.
Okay.
Fear of confrontation, fear of rejection.
I can see that.
But ultimately, even if the intention isn't to hurt you,
right,
it still damages the relationship.
Because you're not being your true self.
Exactly.
So what's the 5th and final sign?
The fifth sign is people who are constantly negative.
Ugh, the Debbie Downers.
You know, we can't control what other people say or do, but we can control how much we expose ourselves to their negativity.
So true. It's like that analogy of, if you're in a polluted area,
Yes, walk away.
walk away. You can't stop the pollution, but you can get yourself out of there.
Exactly. You don't have to stand there and breathe it in.
You have the power.
You do.
Okay, so to recap 5 signs of negative people.
Okay, let's do it.
People who don't value you,
Hmm?
people who are envious of you, people who want you to change, people who lie to you, and people who are just constantly negative.
And recognizing these signs, it's so important because it allows you to start setting boundaries.
Yes.
And making conscious choices about who you let into your life.
So to leave everyone with something to think about the people that you spend the most time with.
Yes.
Do they lift you up?
Do they inspire you?
Or do they bring you down?
And how is that impacting other areas of your life?
Such good questions to think about.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important to remember that we have the power to choose who we let into our lives.
We absolutely do.
And by recognizing these negative patterns, we can start creating relationships that are truly supportive and fulfilling.
And that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining us for another deep dive, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.